How to repair a Hamilton Beach FlexBrew that has been leaking from the big coffee side. Where I call it the big side, the side that brews the pod, not the actual pods, but the pod. The issue is when we brew coffee, it would basically dump water out of the bottom of the unit. And getting online, doing some investigating, found a video where a gentleman had discovered the same issue with his, and what it turns out to be is the actual hose feeding the actual arm that drops the water in. And I'll let you kind of see that there. I'll put the unit back together, but I want to show you where that hose is at. And it seems to be maybe a manufacturing error or problem. And if you are so inclined, you can go in and actually try to fix your own. But that's where that hose is at, and that clamp was off of it, and it was actually, the hose was off of the actual inlet and was causing it to run water right down into the back and out the bottom. So there's a few things that I did to start this. First was I took the unit and I took the bottom off of it. It is some specialty screws. Just so you know, they're 3-tip screws and they're very small. I happen to have a screwdriver that already had that tip on it, or a set of screwdrivers that bits that would do that. He did use a flathead to do his, and he was able to get the screws out. So once that bottom is off of it, it exposes some screws that you're able to get to, but it also allows you to pop these panels off the side. These panels are actually held together with little tips. I don't know if you can see them real well, but you just need to depress where those are at, and it will actually cause them to pop out. I did this on both sides of the unit because that's the only way to really get into the back. So this is the side with the case pod, and this is the side where the regular brew is at. That being said, once that was done, I was able to get to a couple of screws that I'll show you. You're probably not going to be able to see them very well. Some flashlights. There's a place there, and there is a place there, and then the back side of it is where these go in at. I'm going to go ahead and start putting the back together, and then we'll start piecing it all back together so you can see the assembly in reverse. So again, we're going to start with the back. It does have to be in a certain notch, so I'll kind of video that real quick. The way this thing goes in, it goes up under this bracket here. If not, it will not slide back up in there perfectly and get seated so you can actually put the screws in. So now with that in, I can go ahead and put the 3 screws. And some of these screws are actually Phillips head, and some are actually going to be that 3-prong. So let me see if I can get these started. And I'll turn that flashlight back off. Now I've got it started on it. And I'll show you where these are at again once I get them in. And this unit was less than a year old, so again, not sure it was just a round that came off the manufacturing floor that caused this, or something else, but I can tell you this unit was gotten right around Christmas last year. So kind of, they brackets, you can set these down over and they'll fit down in. Get all the screws together. Alright, so the back is back on. I'm going to go ahead and attach the arm. Go ahead and show you where those screws were one more time. There's a screw that goes in right there. One that goes in right there. And another one that goes there and there. Saying that is because you need to get these sides off before you can get to it. That gentleman didn't get the sides off, and he was able to do it, but I found it much easier to do it this way. Now we're going to take the arm and reattach the arm. It has 2 Phillips head screws also. And don't drop your screws. That's always a bad thing. I have to go down with my magnetic screwdriver and hope that I can pick it up. Or turn it upside down and let it drop. And again, let me get these screws. I'm just going to drop them in their holes. That way they're already in there. There's 2 of them. One is used to actually get the back, so it goes into the back itself, and if it's not taken out, then you can't get the back off. So this again is the drip arm that goes into the hole that tube that was off supplies. Because we were noticing the water that was coming out was nice and warm. It is what it is. Alright, so just so you can see this again, get a flashlight so you can see. There is 1 screw there and 1 screw there. And that screw is the one that also connects into the back. So if you don't remove it, it will not come off. And again, the arm just up and down. The lid is just attached through holes in the top. So you can pretty much see, I'll show you. They are just tabs. So I found just prying to the side a little bit to slide it out, and it works. So let me go ahead and get this back in. And then there's one other piece to the lid. Without breaking it. Probably going to need the flat head, because that's what I had to use to pry it out. Held in there. I mean, you can pry this plastic is very flexible. Then there's one other little bracket that holds on to it. That's this, that actually keeps this piece attached to the top. And it is locked in. And I'll show you that real quick. Sorry for the flashing light, but that's where that goes. Now it's just getting that side panel back on. Let me get side panel number 1. You should be able to pretty much just start popping it back into play. those latches kick back in. Let's get that panel back on. As you can see, go ahead and do the other side. In. Don't one can, but this one. There we go. So just like that. The panel popped up on the side again. And then that leaves me with the bottom. Actually, I'm going to take the opportunity to clean the little tray for the K-Cup, because might as well do that now while it's off. And reattach. And this is where that special screwdriver comes into play. There are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws that hold that bottom on, and they are that 3-tip screwdriver. And make sure I find the right bit, and each one of those go in just to keep the bottom nice and level. I think the hardest part was to get those little tabs out, but again, you want to take those out, and they'll start to pry off with the bottom out, but they are pretty difficult to get popped out, and I did break one on mine, but it doesn't seem to affect it. The rest of them held it in fairly good, so just kind of a little warning. Almost done. Then we'll put the basket back in and put another pot of water in there, and should see it roll pretty decent with no leaks. And the last screw. And these screws are pretty much around the edge, but I'll show you in a second where they're all located at. Again, they're all locking security screws. So you basically have one there, 2 down there, 1 along the back, 1 in the middle, and right along the edge there. Alright, well, it is back together. Go ahead and plug it in. Drop my basket in. And we'll go ahead and put some water in it. 6 cups of water in there just for the heck of it. see, actually a little over 6.5. Drop the lid, and we'll kick a brew cycle off on it. And we just want to make sure we don't see any water come running out of it. And that's going to do it. Sorry for first video trying to do a repair, but just wanted you guys to have a secondary one because it seemed like he was the only one that had a video out there, and I thought adding one to it to help people see. Again, those panels on the side seem to be the key to getting to the back of it. Unless you got really skinny hands and you want to get it, I could not get that hose back on the actual piece until I got that back off. He did use a screw clamp, but to reattach this, but I used the original clamp because it looks to me like, again, it had never just gotten on it. Good when they assembled it in the facilities. So no water that I can see. Looks good. Hope you find this helpful, and if you do, give me a thumbs up.